Okay.
Is it gonna work?
Get a much nicer picture before that. This is 10 kilometers from Damascus. I lived there for a while. I did shit. Perhaps if it does. So I can't read, guys. And I don't mean that I literally can't read. I mean that I can't read books. I buy books all the time. I go into a bookstore, I see a shop, and I'm like I want these, I want these books, and so I buy tons of them. And I read like the first 10 pages, and then I never finish. And I even go back and I read the first 10 pages of the same book again, but I still never finish. But whilst I can't read books, I read thousands and thousands and thousands of words of content every single day, whether it's wasting my life on BBC or TechCrunch or on Twitter or on blogs, right? So I'm reading probably a book every 2-3 days. It would be my sort of guesstimate. So I'm like, there's some really great content that I'm not reading because it is kind of like encapsulated or like kind of caught up in books. The question is, how can I kind of feed that book into the way I do consume content? So the idea basically is to take a book, to break it down, and then to push it into the places that I normally consume content. So an app which will basically send me a notification when it's realised I've been using my phone for 5 or 10 minutes reading the BBC or whatever it is, with the next chunk of content in my book, which I then read, and then I don't know. This is not what's on my screen. So this is not.
It's not yours.
What's going on? It doesn't matter too much. There's not too much to show you. But the idea would be simply that all I managed to build was this little tiny little bit here today. Right? This is actually an app. This is the simulator. It doesn't do very much at all, right? Literally at all. That's just a few books in the database, and you can look at them, and you would click read now, which will take you to the first book, right? It doesn't do much at all, but I did get it sort of like actually like able to have a app. But yeah, so I got a long way to go, but I said that's the first time I'd even opened up Xcode today, so it was a bit to go. I'm not sure if I can completely clear what it is I'm trying to do, but I'm hoping that using this I will gradually read books just as I read my stuff normally, and I hope that'll be useful for some other people too.
Judges' questions. Hang on.
So it sounds like what you're building is like an RSS feed for books. Would that be?
Yeah, it's something exactly like, I would say literally something exactly like that, right? Like that'd be a perfect example. If you're someone who consumes stuff through RSS feeds, right?
Yeah.
We would send you a little 500-word excerpt from the book every single time that you would kind of go into that and read your stuff, and then you'd either, on an app, every time you need something, you'd either click like done or done and give them the next section if you've got more time to you want to read a little bit more. But yeah, that would be a perfect example of one way we could get it into people's lives, like they normally consume stuff. There's not much text to inquire about, but I really hoped I'd get up here and say like PhoneGap's amazing, like steroids is amazing. These two kind of tools I use, but yeah, it wasn't coming together, the environment. I probably done about 1 hour of actual coding, and the rest of it just like install. Would anyone use it? Like
Yeah.
Been there, done that, gave up after half a day.
On what?
The same as you, trying to get SDK and Xcode and everything.
Yeah.
I just write lines and lines of code in PHP. It's easier.
Well, I'm